Welcome. I shout out to all the returning subscribers. Big up every single one of you. Like every single one of you. Big up all the subscribers. If you're new here, by the way, my name is Versatile, aka the Onochie-Obayuwana trusted name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. You ready to see the title of this live stream? So you're ready to know? Hold on. Nah, for real. So, I need to give me a second, people. Man's got to sort out a few technical, a few technical problems in that. But anyway, like I said, by the way, my name is Versatile, aka the Onochie-Obayuwana trusted name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And yeah, you see the title already. You already know what time it is. What I need you to do is, so I just got a little bit distracted trying to sort this out. I don't know what's up with this thing. Hold on. All right, so anyway, like I said, by the way, my name is Versatile, aka the Onochie-Obayuwana trusted name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And look, the pinned comment, you see that link? Go to that link, and I'll tell you everything we need to know about this particular live stream. However, I do want to say one thing: what we reacted to, we did it in 3 parts. Yeah, basically that documentary. I came to this conclusion of thinking there's something quite, what do you call it? There's something quite not right about that. You know what I mean? So, and it just so happened that, them ways there where, give me a second. All right, sorry. All right, so them ways there where you have questions, right? It's like, okay, Greg Kading was able to make a documentary, well, make a book, then be part of a documentary that's based on his book. But then within that documentary, what did he say? Do you understand? He literally said that the LAPD pulled the case for Biggie and 2Pac. Well, especially the Biggie case because of, I think something to do with because the way it seemed, it just like it was to get rid of that lawsuit. That's all it was. Yeah, if there's any way to sum it up, that's the best way to sum it up. Like, it's mad. But listen, there's more to it. There's more to it. Because I was just watching something earlier and I thought, I got to react to this. So we're going to react to it right now. I know I just went on a little one for just a bit, but it is what it is. We live, all right? We live, all right? So turn on your post notification, turn the volume up to the max. Let's get it. Let's go. So the title of this video is called Reggie Tried to Discredit the Man Who Saw David Mack and Raphael Perez Around Death Row Records. Yeah. However, shout out to Discretion TV. Yeah. I'm gonna react to a lot of their content when it comes to this sort of topic as well. Just to give you a little bit of insight. Yeah. There's certain things within there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even ones from like years ago. Trust me. They've been doing. They know what they're doing. But let's keep it moving.
And this is just my personal opinion that, yeah, he was there in Vegas, September 7th, 1996, but he wasn't a part of the shooters in that car. I don't believe he was a part of the shooters.
All right.
I believe the police, your crew.
See, I don't know who's speaking. I believe it's the guy that owns this channel, Discretion TV. But I think who he's speaking to is Reggie Wright Jr. And just in case you didn't know, in fact, you should know because Reggie Wright Jr. was also in that documentary that we reacted to, right? So just keep that in mind. Remember, I also said in that documentary that the person who went to CW, yeah, but then also like the person that was speaking, and they tried to say that he's a witness, but they're now deceased or whatever. I was like, hang on. That voice sounds familiar. And it's like, it's interesting because when Reggie Wright Jr. had his time to speak, I was like, yeah, I'm right. That is the same guy. Now, granted, there's some people in life who can have similar tones of voice and whatever the case may be. They can sound alike, but they're not the same person. That can happen, but it's extremely rare. Yeah, in most cases, if you do sound like someone, more chances than ever, you're more likely to sound like your siblings or something. Do you know what I mean? Or one of your cousins or nieces or nephews or whatever. That can happen. That's just DNA. Yeah, that's just DNA. But it's still, there's a bit of there's a way you can tell who's who. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man. So let's just keep it moving. And yeah, let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Punch. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's talk about that. Kevin Gaines, Raphael Perez, David Mack. They went to jail and snitched on 76 of their fellow co-workers for all type of crimes. They have never once mentioned my name, Reggie Wright. Nobody. There's no pictures. There's nothing of them ever working for me. There's no one has ever seen them around other than a crackhead named Joe Cool, who got paid by some interview on with RJ Bonds and them.
I shout out RJ Bond. He's another one. We're gonna if I can find the documentary on the assassination. Is it called The Assassination of 2Pac Shakur? Or I forgot the full name. There's like 3 parts. We're gonna react to that as well. That's for another day, for another topic. To turn on your post notifications for that as well, because yeah, there's levels to this. There's genuine levels to this. Let's keep it moving.
Them around. I really believe that was Kevin Hackey that he think was Raphael Perez. Because if you look at them, they both look alike. A Puerto Rican slick hair mother.
I'll give him that. Kevin Hackey and Raphael Perez, they do have a sort of likeness to them. You at first you would think maybe not, but I could see that. Cause look, this is hold on. Let's see.
That he think was Raphael.
So this is Kevin Hackey. Yeah, that's Kevin Hackey. FBI informant. Also, and for some reason he was working like he's the one that was also part of 2Pac's bodyguard, but also not just that. Well, in terms of when he was in Death Row Records, yeah, but not just that. He also was investigating Death Row Records in as a federal informant. Which you have to question why. Why would you? Okay, because of the accusations that they're using undercover police. Like we'll find out all those details another day. Yeah, but that's a mad story. It's like, all right, you want to paint that story? That's cool. Whatever, isn't it? Yeah. Now, remember in that documentary that we reacted to, right? He is the one that was rushed to Las Vegas hospital to the hospital acting like a madman, yeah, not even identifying himself properly, yeah, not even identifying himself properly. Of course the security are going to be apprehensive, of course, because you know why? Like the statements more or less said, the aim is to protect their staff and their patients. Let that sink in for a moment. So the question now becomes, yes, they do kind of look alike. Now, could that be a role? This is just me in my conspiracy mind here, but we want to deal with facts. Could that play a role in the fact that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go.
If you look at them, they both look alike. A Puerto Rican slick hair motherfucker.
They do sort of look alike. And then that's Raphael Perez.
But hey, I don't know. But I'm just saying, show some evidence that any of those guys was ever even around Death Row.
Yes. Officer Perez, he was friends with Suge. I've seen him up there several times, and he was friends with Suge. I seen him in uniform and out of uniform. And when he out of uniform, he try to look like he cool and shit. He wear little accents of red, you know, like try to fit in and shit. I know I'm like, oh, that's the police dude. But I never knew that he was the part of that Rampart division shit until I seen him. Like, oh, out of all the police in the world that I remember him for being up at Death Row. And then there was another one, the one that they said killed Biggie, right? Black dude. He used to be up there too. I don't know if he did this, but the one that they had on the nose, he was there a lot.
Damn.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so obviously, I don't know exactly what interview this is from, but obviously, again, Reggie Wright Jr. is being interviewed. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So listen to, let's listen to what he's got to say, all right? But anyway, turn on your post notifications. Let's keep it moving. Get me? Leave a comment in the comments below. Get me? I've got more content coming. I will react to some more music. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, hey, I kind of like reacting in this type of format. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still, music is one thing, but reacting to stuff like this, that, you know what I mean? It gives a different kind of vibe. Let's go.
Roger Rosen was like, I told him to contact my attorney, Roger Rosen, and they sent him an immunity agreement. But once I realized what they were investigating.
Wait. Time out. We're gonna turn on the subtitles. Yeah, let's turn on the subtitles or the captions or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, because we gotta understand. We gotta see what's going on. Because sometimes the audio can sound a bit muffly. Yeah. All right.
I told him to contact my attorney, Roger Rosen, and they sent him an immunity agreement. But once I realized what they were investigating, I was like, I don't need no immunity agreement on no Biggie shooting. And I turned it down. And so that's when Teresa Swan, though.
Oh, yeah, remember, Teresa Swan, I don't want to keep pausing like this, but, let's do what I normally do, right? So just keep in mind, Teresa Swan.
Had a meeting with her. And I guess they showed her a letter.
Teresa Swan.
And she immediately started crying.
So you remember that?
And was like, and she called me. But they let her stop and said, Reggie, they got me. They got me. And I'm like, what? I said, Suge had you involved in some shit like that? And so that's when I called Greg Kading and said, hey, Greg, that deal that you offered me, I don't need. But can you offer it to Teresa Swan?
What?
So that's how this whole immunity thing came up. Reggie Wright has never accepted any immunity agreement on either one of the cases.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. The next question is for the LAPD, if they really truly felt that Poochie did it, that Teresa did it, why were detectives like Steve Katz hiding information in his desk? Why wouldn't they just prosecute the case? Even if he's dead, it would make everything go away. Why are they hiding files?
Exactly.
That point I can't answer because I don't know. But I can also tell you that they were still trying to pursue the case. They had Teresa Swan go and meet with Suge the night before. And she tried to get him to talk. And all they got on tape was him pointing at the sky, telling her, why are you talking about this? The only person that knows about this. He pointed to her, himself, and up to the sky. Meaning the person that's there.
Wait.
They got that on tape. That's all he was saying.
And this letter that they showed Teresa Swan, you're clear. You know that letter was written and was fabricated by Greg Kading and another officer, correct? You're clear on that.
I'm clear on that, yes.
So look, this is what So we're fully aware, based on that documentary that we reacted to, that yeah, Teresa Swan, aka Sharifa Knight, do you know what I mean? Like, she is the one that did that deal with Greg Kading under false pretenses. Yeah. Now I didn't know, and they didn't mention it in the documentary. They didn't mention that she got an immunity deal, or you know, they never mentioned that. That is very surprising to me. Extremely surprising. And Reggie was offered what? The same, but he turned it down. Now, why was he offered? Does he know anything? Because yeah, he could be connected in one way in regards to obviously being the head of security. That's one thing, but there's only so much you can know as head of security, right? There's only so much detail you can give. If you're innocent, I don't think you should have it anyway. I won't even go into too much details in regards to that. However, now look, the woman who's asking these questions is what, like, she's right. If Poochie is, no longer physically alive, then they're saying that he is the one that, you know what I mean, was responsible or partially responsible, then why can they not pursue the case properly? And Reggie is saying they did pursue the case, but what he's not understanding is, despite them pursuing the case, he's not understanding that deal was to make it seem like it was Putin. And after that, that's when they pulled it under. The LAPD said, that's it, case done. Because the case is still not resolved. This is just the Biggie situation we're talking about, not even 2Pac's situation yet. So let that sink in. And then I want you to put into mind, like, how did Reggie Wright Jr. know of the video taping of Suge Knight pointing and then pointing up? Do you know what I mean? How did he know that? Where did he get that information from? Is it not fair to ask these questions? But anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's continue. Let's go.
Okay.
They try to show it to me as well.
They showed you a fake letter.
They brought that to me as well. It wasn't, Greg Kading was off the case by then.
Okay.
Dupree and another black officer named Martin, like that. They met with me and they showed me the letter as well. And are y'all aware that I took a polygraph exam on all of this?
I'm not aware of that. No, I don't know if Phil was.
Oh.
Okay.
No, you know what? Back up a second here, because this is something I didn't know. Was when that fictitious letter was written up, are you saying Kading was off the case or was still on the case?
When they try to show it to me, not to Tisa Tells.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Why wasn't Kading on the case, and why wasn't he part of showing this letter to you?
He was taken off the case, and I'm sure y'all know why, because of the George Torres situation.
George Torres situation?
Because of how he got jammed up on, was it false testimony, or I know people got released that had been prosecuted on that case, correct? On the Torres case?
Correct.
Hey, yo.
Okay. And why would they take him off? I'm just curious. What's your understanding, Reggie, being a former police officer? Why would they take Kading off of this case if he'd been involved in it from the very beginning? After he had been found, I don't know what's the word, being involved in the problems with the Torres convictions. Why would they take him off the Biggie case because of that? What was your understanding? What would be your understanding?
Well,
I want to hear you.
Credibility. Once you use credibility in the courts,
right,
you're no good to any investigation.
There you go.
I just want to make sure I understand. Kading was taken off of the case that he supposedly was being very much involved with and in part of this fabricated letter, but the LAPD took him off the case because he had lost credibility because of what? False testimony, and they had to overturn some convictions, in the Torres murder case that he was involved in. Is that correct?
I don't know.
I just want to make sure I understand it.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't know what the situation was.
And I don't want to make assumptions. I just didn't know if you knew. That's what I was asking. Okay.
No, I don't
problem.
know.
Okay.
Well, I will say that the judge in the case, Judge Stephen V. Wilson, threw out close to 50 federal convictions because of what he deemed Kading's reckless disregard for the truth. So there was close to 50 federal convictions that were thrown out in federal court because of Kading's credibility.
Damn.
Okay, but does that mean that what he filed in this investigation to be untrue?
Rewind now.
Was that 16 other people that worked on the task force as well?
Wait a minute.
Because of what he deemed Kading's reckless disregard for the truth. So there was close to 50 federal convictions that were thrown out in federal court because of Kading's credibility.
Okay, but does that mean
50
that
federal
what he filed in this investigation to be untrue?
Yo.
Was that 16 other people that worked on the task force as well?
I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer to that question. I don't think 15 of those people wrote a book and made a movie.
Yeah, Reggie, you're smarter than this, man. Come on. Reggie, you're a smart guy. You are. I got no issues with you at all. You're a good dude. You're a funny guy, and you're a smart guy. You're a former cop. You ran your own security company, did very well with it. But come on, man. You know exactly why he got taken off the case, and you know why and you know why cops get taken off the case, because when they do, like you said, when they lose credibility. This is nothing against Kading. This is against any cop that lies or does anything to lose credibility, and then to have to vacate 50 federal convictions.
Damn.
So my question to you guys are, there were 16 other people on that case. So are they all lying? The other 16?
Come on, Reggie.
They weren't all LAPD cops.
What kind of question is that?
There's some FBI agents, ATF agents, EA agents.
I know, but just to clarify, a majority were LAPD officers. I think you had Boeth with the sheriffs. You had 2 FBI. You had a DEA. But again, these I think are Kading's words. Is he was leading the task force, which again, that's I don't know if you ever and again, I don't want to go down the whole Greg Kading issue because I've never met the guy, and so I don't have any issues with him. I just have an issue with any cop that does some of the things that he has been accused of doing and loses credibility and gives.
Hey, yo, see what we're witnessing here is we are witnessing the fact that Greg Kading, has had 50 federal cases or convictions of overturned or something like that, or dropped, or whatever the case is, because of his credibility. He did something, and this is mad, because I don't want to go off into a tangent and be like, and look at all the cases he's done and be like, oh, raw, he false testimony here. So does that mean, look, all right, look, this is one question I have in mind now, does that mean that Keefe D's testimony is false? Now, the reason why I say this, the reason why I'm asking, I'm not saying it's false, but I'm just saying, and I'm asking a question, is it false based on the fact that with that video recording or the audio tape, do you know what I mean? Which again, is it legal to have that available to the public like that? Anyway, that's another question for another day. But the question that's being asked, well, it's like Greg Kading was putting words into Keefe D's mouth. He was saying, so this is what happened. And then all Keefe D is like, yeah. And you've got to remember, how did Keefe D end up in that situation in the first place? It was via an entrapment. It's simple as that. So via that entrapment, he's under a situation where it's a catch-22. If you don't fall in line and do what Greg Kading does or says, and talk in regards to either Biggie situation or a 2Pac situation, then guess what happens? The deal that you agreed that for a lesser charge or whatever the case may be, or lesser charge for your family, friends, or whatever the case may be. Do you know what I mean? That could come under fire because of if you don't cooperate. So it's like a catch-22. What do you do? Now, I'm not in no way, shape, or form saying Keefe D is innocent. I'm not ever saying that. Because he may have a role to play at some capacity, but I don't know. I don't know the full-fledged facts. This is why I'm reacting to stuff like this. I want to see and hear certain things. And when you listen closely, you start to pay attention to certain people and be like, wait, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense to me is how if you're investigating someone and you want them to confess to a crime that they allegedly did, that you believe they did based on whatever, right? You ask leading questions, and I could be wrong about this, but you would ask leading questions that get them to confess. Do you understand? You don't put words into their mouth, because that's manipulation. Do you understand? Now, however, the 50K, so it's now, it now looks like, okay, he's not credible. Greg Kading is not credible. Then obviously they mentioned about other people on the case, and so obviously he was taken off the task force. So when was he taken off the task force? To the point where he ended up retiring to be able to make this book that's in the pinned comments, which you can purchase yours, and yeah, I'll get a small commission, whatever. But like, do you know what I mean? I've just got questions, but let's keep it moving.
Pops a bad name, and he turns around and goes ahead and writes a book, publishes a book himself. When I don't know if you've spoken, Reggie, to any of the other officers on this task force.
I know Mike Couette very well, Tim Brennan very well, and they're not happy with him.
Yeah, they're not happy with Kading at all. In fact, one of them, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been told let's just say one of the members of that task force is so upset with Kading and the book and the bullshit that's in it that they're thinking of writing their own book to set the story straight, because like you said,
and they did. Well, I don't know if they set the story straight. Their book is, I don't want to name the book because I'm not promoting it for now, but like, yeah, they did write a book, by the way, which is so mad.
It's not fair to have one bad cop, a task force, be representative of, say, the other 10 or 12 or whatever members of that task force who are doing a good, honest job and trying to get to the bottom of things. Is that fair to say?
Correct. That's all. My whole point to bringing that up was to say, hey, if he's bad, okay, but do that make all the other 14 or 15 officers on the case findings to be inaccurate? That's all I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nope, we're cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Reg, you've already said and pretty clear that the only LAPD officers that were around Right Way Security or worked for Right Way Security was McCall.
Wait. Why would they a sticker on? Maybe it might be a normal thing, and maybe Gene Dill can attest to this. But why is they imagine I was struggling to think what I should react to, yeah, and it was meant to be Gene Dill's documentary, but anyway, doesn't matter. We'll get onto that for another day for another subject. But why is there a sticker on the wheel, like on the rims, where it says "Think BIG"? And is that the one where BIG was? You know what I'm saying? And in the caravan, they call it the caravan, but I don't know why they call it caravan. And anyway, how many of them had those stickers? Now it's got me really thinking, because what the hell is going on?
And the other two officers, Ken Sutton and David Love. I'm going to just pose another question to you, and I don't know if you've ever been asked this. it's one thing if you're running a security company and obviously Suge is his own man. He's running around doing whatever he's doing, interacting with whoever he's interacting. Is there a world that exists that you're basically saying, with all of this other evidence that exists, that it's unrealistic that David Mack or Raphael Perez were involved in the murder of Biggie? Are you saying full stop, there's no way they were involved in that murder?
What a question.
I mean, you know, why would they, what's their motive for death row? I'm not saying they didn't do it on their own. If you know, if they fans or groupies, like some would like to make them out, who knows? But I can tell you.
You're skirting the question. You're skirting the question
No.
what Don asked you.
I'm going to respond to it.
Okay.
I don't think no one knows them from Death Row Records. Is what I'm going to say. They done gave up 70 officers. I mean, 70 fellow officers. They have never in life mentioned my name. That they know me or know anything about Reginald Wright. Ever.
Go ahead and run a question.
They done turned on all type of people. Good friends, best friends, cops, been in the police car with them, and everything. I don't know these guys. They have never mentioned the name Reggie Wright Jr. or Sr.
Yeah, but oh my God, this guy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, is it possible, unbeknownst to you, that this was orchestrated or happened, and that it was done without your knowledge?
But that's not what the claim's been. That's not what your whole show been about. Your whole show been saying that these people were related to me and had a relationship with me. And I don't know these guys. They never even mentioned my name. There's been phone records. I'm sure y'all done pulled my phone records. There's no phone records with me and them.
What are you
There's no trace to any of us. But everybody want to keep linking them to us.
Well, I'm not finished telling the story. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you and asking these questions. Is for that particular reason. Is this idea, you know, that there is an overwhelming amount of evidence and an overwhelming amount of things that went on inside the LAPD to protect these two officers and to protect not letting that information be put out into the public or be put out into the criminal justice system. And you have to ask why, you know? And I remain to be swayed either way, but I just say, hey, Reg, you will run a business. It's not like you could keep your tabs on hundreds of people or 50 people or whoever was around Suge at all this time. Is it seemingly possible that it happened somehow, some way, unbeknownst to you?
See, look, the way Reggie Wright Jr. is answering the question by not answering, it's like he's trying to defend himself. Do you understand? It's like he's trying to defend himself. You know when you catch someone doing something, yeah, and well, you catch a group of people doing something, or kids, let's say kids, and you ask them who did it. Let's say they break a vase or something like that, or break a window. Let's use a window for example. Yeah, and you ask them who did it, and then they say it wasn't me. And then one of them, the one that's really guilty that did it. Do you know what I mean? You can always tell by how they speak, how they respond, how guilty they are. That's him. That's Reggie Wright Jr. I'm not saying he's guilty 100%. No way, because I don't know the pure facts. But what I do know is there's some discrepancy here. You understand? First of all, he sounded like that guy that's apparently deceased. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like you're a part of the documentary. All right, cool, because you're part of the security team. Fair enough, makes sense. But what's being asked here, is it possible that Raphael Perez and David Mack, was it David Mack? But I know it was definitely Raphael Perez, that they could have been, you know, working for Death Row Records, or at least being known to Death Row Records in any way, shape, or form. All he had to simply say was, listen, I run my security company. They're not part of my security detail. So if Suge Knight was running a security, another separate security with those names in it, I don't know. I couldn't say. Yeah, I'm just the head of security, and I just do. My job is, you want to let me know how I do my job, I can let you know. You don't try to skirt around. You know what I'm saying? You know that little Kim dance. You know what I mean? You don't do that. But let's keep it moving.
I mean, I'm sure that could have happened, but that's not what the accusations are. And I'm just saying that I don't believe Suge Knight knew Raphael Perez or David Mack. People try to say that they grew up in Compton with us. I never even heard of David Mack. I don't even know what neighborhood he grew up in or where. People just say he grew up in Compton with Suge, but never show where. Tell us the street. Give us the address. Where? We don't know anything about this man, but everybody's throwing that out there.
Let me ask you this, Reggie. Let me ask you this. Okay. It's a known fact that David Mack grew up in Compton. Okay? It is. Hold on, Reggie. We're not gonna go down this road. The stuff that I've talked about has been put out there, but not by me and not by the FBI. Okay?
Okay.
All the information that's been put out on this FBI investigation was put out by Chuck Phillips and the LAPD. Period.
Okay.
And if you go back and look at any of these articles where people from the LAPD deputy chiefs are quoted and they state about what's going on in the FBI investigation, and then there'll be parts where they say the FBI was asked to comment and they would not deny or confirm that there's even an investigation going on. That's how the FBI rolls. We don't just go out there looking for the publicity and just start talking.
Okay, so this person that's interviewing or talking to Reggie Wright Jr. is part of the FBI. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Now that's even more interesting. Let's go. You know that saying from, what's the lyrics from Michael Jackson again? FBI is watching me. I listen. How could it be?
Talking up about all of our cases. That's why I think we're a little bit more well respected than a lot of other, or probably all federal agencies.
I agree with that.
Is that fair?
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So if there's something that's being put out there, LAPD, that says there's a full cell phone analysis been done on Amir Muhammad's phone, you don't know the results of that, do you? No,
I don't know the results,
right?
but I know it would have leaked out if it was connected to Suge Knight, Death Row Records. Oh yeah, it would have.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who would have leaked that out? Who would have leaked that out? Because nobody knows about it than the FBI, right? Nobody knows about all that stuff other than the FBI. So who would have had to leak it out?
Well, there was a task force in 2008. You don't think that Greg Kading in them had access to that? No, I don't. You don't think the 3 FBI agents that was on the task force didn't have access to that? They were federalized. Yes.
That doesn't mean that they had access to those cases.
And not even the FBI agents?
No, the FBI agents would. But no, I'm saying
you don't think they would tell? And they wouldn't tell the people in the task force?
No, I don't know. No, they wouldn't.
No? Okay.
No, they wouldn't.
You wouldn't
No. Are you aware of all the surveillance that was done on Amir Muhammad? Because, again, I can talk about that because that was leaked by the LAPD to the LA Times, and it's in LA Times article. So that's why I can talk about it. So are you aware of all the surveillance that was done on Amir Muhammad? And if so, are you aware what the results were of all that surveillance? Yes or no?
I don't think I'm aware that he called the police when your crazy informant went knocking on his door.
Yeah, okay, that was the operation with Psycho Mike. I'm talking about the surveillance done. Are you aware of all the surveillance that was done by the FBI? And if so, what were the results? Are you aware of any of that?
No.
Okay.
No. But I'm aware that I'm aware that the civil lawsuit was dropped. He was immediately dropped from the case when it was proven that he had an alibi for where he was at, and the Wallace family dropped him from the civil lawsuit the next day. I'm aware of that.
Okay, so if you're going to say that there was a proven alibi,
I wasn't aware of that, but wow.
Tell me what that alibi was and tell me where you heard it, because it doesn't exist. But you said no about that? Tell me about it.
So why was he dropped? Why was he dropped?
No.
You tell me, why was he dropped?
You just, I didn't say he wasn't dropped. Don't keep putting words in my mouth. You just said that after he was deposed, he was able to prove he had an alibi of where he was when the shooting occurred, and that's why they dropped him. I'm asking you, how do you know that? Where's that coming from?
LA Times.
There you go.
Okay.
LA Times.
Reg, man, no, you're better than this, Reg. I'm.
Hi. Good morning. Very good of you to see us.
What makes Kading's comments about Mack and Perez look especially weak is that even Police Chief Bernard Parks himself said they worked for death row.
We know that.
And this is what's so magic. Like, Reggie, here's the thing about lies, yeah. Sooner or later, if you tell, the more lies you tell, someone's going to find out the truth. You know what I'm saying? And there's telltale signs if someone's lying. Now, here's the thing. That conversation was very telling. It tells me, and I could be wrong, and you can leave your answer in the comment section below. Reggie Wright is trying to either hide something or trying to cover up something. It's one or the two. That's what it seems like, because you can't say, it's like, if the FBI have been doing surveillance on someone like Amir Mohammed, and the information isn't out there like that, other than the other stuff that was in the LA Times, which the FBI was, whoever he is from the FBI said, I can talk about this because of it being there. And you know, so imagine the things that they can't talk about. And I know this to be true based on the fact of where I work, you know what I'm saying? There's information that we are not allowed to speak of. You get it? To the public or to anyone. That's just how it goes. Do you know what I'm saying? Now let's keep it moving. Let's go.
David Mack and Raphael Perez both work security in this rap culture as it relates to some of these artists. But we have had
the death row
records, but we have no information, nor has any information come forward that would cause us to believe that either one of them are suspects. If in our continuing investigation we uncover facts that we can prove, then we will continue moving forward to clear that case. But until then, what we've seen so far is merely undocumented speculation that has not led to any significant leads.
It would appear that...
Do you see why Reggie Wright Jr. wants to make sure his name is not linked to that, and trying to make sure their names are not attached to Death Row Records? Because either way, it don't look good on Reggie Wright Jr. because obviously he's the head of security, and it's like that must mean he hired them. It's not so much of Suge Knight hiring them; it's the case of Reggie Wright Jr. hiring them. Do you get it? This is what I was saying earlier. If he said, look, I don't know if they work for Death Row Records, you're going to have to ask Suge Knight. That's not a question I can answer. Yes, I'm the head of security, but as you said, Suge Knight is his own man. Do you understand? Well, I don't say that's how you should have played it, because you should always tell the truth, but if that was the truth, you know what I mean?
Police Chief Bernard Parks should have been well acquainted with Mack and Perez, according to Xavier Jimenez.
One of the most shocking things in that Board of Rights, or any that I've ever done in over 30 years, was there was a photograph of Raphael Perez and David Mack, who were the two police officers that were bad news, and a woman standing in the middle. And they were all dressed in red from head to toe, a hat, whatever, which is the color of the blood gangs. There's the Crips, and their colors are blue. And so these guys were dressed in red. And they were standing behind a table where there was a cake that said something about Blood's Rule or, something like that. And I was startled because I recognized the woman. And it was the daughter of Police Chief Bernard Parks, who it appeared was a Blood gang member.
That's incredible.
No, for real, that's incredible. Are you talking about this? Hold on. You're talking about this same Bernard Parks.
We know that
this guy here. This is the same Bernard Parks. He's wait a minute. This is mad. So when you deep it, look at the connections, look at the interconnectedness.
David Mack and Raphael Perez both work security in this rap culture as it relates to some of these artists. But we have had
the death row
records, but we have no information, nor has any information come forward that would cause us to believe that either one of them are suspects if in our continuing investigation.
Okay, you see, look. So his daughter obviously knows of them. He obviously knows of them. So it's like, of course he's not going to say they're suspects. Of course. Of course. And it could be very... You know how some people want to blame Suge Knight for the Biggie situation, and obviously the Diddy situation in regards to 2Pac, we can talk about that a bit later on. But as far as the Biggie situation, I can understand the narrative. However, when you put things into perspective, if Suge Knight really did it or really put the order out, he wouldn't have came out of jail, because he was already in jail at that point. March 9th, 1997, where was he? In jail. Think about that properly. Don't you think they're going to be monitoring calls? Don't you think they're going to be monitoring visits? Come on now. Make it make sense. And not only that, when you think about it, it's like, even if it is that for a matter of fact, of which we know it's not, allegedly, we can also say it doesn't make sense because he's in a position where, let's keep it moving because I've got so many questions.
We uncover facts that we can prove, then we will continue moving forward to clear that case. But until then, what we've seen so far is merely undocumented speculation that has not led to any significant leads.
It would appear that Police Chief Bernard Parks should have been well acquainted with Mack and Perez, according to Xavier Jimenez.
One of the most shocking things in that Board of Rights, or any that I've ever done in over 30 years, was there was a photograph of Raphael Perez and David Mack, who were the two police officers that were bad news, and a woman standing in the middle. And they were all dressed in red from head to toe, a hat, whatever, which is the color of the blood gangs. There's the Crips, and their colors are blue. And so these guys were dressed in red. And they were standing behind a table where there was a cake that said something about Blood's Rule or, something like that. And I was startled because I recognized the woman. And it was the daughter of Police Chief Bernard Parks, who it appeared was a Blood gang member.
That's incredible.
Yeah, tell me about it. I looked at this thing, I turned to my two partners and I said, "Is this the way I think it is?" And they said, "Yeah."
And another cellmate of Officer Perez, who alleged Perez took part in Biggie's murder and were threatened with death if they testified against him.
I have great admiration and respect for the Los Angeles Police Department, but this is the one time, and I've been around the department 40 years. as a civilian. And one of the things that I think bothered me the most was how this one case, being the murder of Biggie Smalls, and everything that emanated from it, was really problematic. And in this particular case with these two prisoners, they were visited at their prisons, 1,000 miles apart, and told not to come and testify in the Board of Rights hearing that I was involved with. And they were told that if they did testify, that friends of Perez who were in prison would have them killed for testifying, for snitching. That I found to be just abhorrent, just illegal.
And it was LAPD police officers who told them.
Two detectives, and we heard it for the first time when Kenny Boagny sort of blurted it out. I asked him a question, and he started, kind of shaking a little bit. And then the advocate for the department, who's like the prosecutor, he jumps up and he gets in his face and he says, "Keep your mouth shut. You were told not to talk about that." That was so unreal. I'd never seen that in all the years of being involved with the department.
So you can see why it's unresolved.
Shortly afterwards, I received a phone call from Boagny, who is currently serving a 40-year sentence in state prison.
Now Diddy's in jail. If he's involved,
so
he's going to remain in jail.
Suge Knight was behind the hit, though.
Okay, he's part of. Okay,
absolutely. From the information that I got, he made the call to get it done.
So which officers are you saying were implicated in the murder of Biggie Smalls?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. David Mack, Sammy Martin, Dirty. You had one other officer that was involved in it, and I keep forgetting his name. The rest, Kevin Gaines. So it's 5 officers that was involved in the planning.
Kevin Gaines.
It is this testimony from Boagny that is concealed by the LAPD and kept from the Biggie Smalls lawyers. The LAPD will be fined $1.1 million by a U.S. district judge for concealing evidence. Is discredited and ostracized.
I mean, I almost took...
He died tragically of a heart attack at LA Sheriff's headquarters during a meeting about the Biggie Smalls murder.
Not be suppressed,
Sure.
kept away from the public.
A lot of what Russ Poole did.
Wait. During the meeting. Hey, listen. His family better investigate that thoroughly, because that don't. Anyway. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. That just sounds mad. But we will wrap to. I think there's a documentary. I think based on either Russell Poole's investigations or he's in the document. I can't remember the full thing, but we'll react to that for another day, for another time. But yeah, to cut a long story short, what I was trying to say was, if Suge Knight was fully involved, with the Biggie case, then I guarantee you the case would be solved because Suge Knight was in prison, right? All right, now watch this. Diddy's now in prison. The trial is set for next year for Keefe D. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, we go see what's gonna happen. However, like I said, Greg Kading he lacks credibility, and there's like false testimony. Now, could they play that audio tape in the court? Maybe, but would it be credible? Maybe not. But then Keefe D has come out on other platforms like Art of the Dialogue to confess in he's partaken in the, you know what I'm saying, of 2Pac. But then you deep it, he also implicated Diddy on several occasions as well. Do you understand? And he also wrote a book. So my question becomes, and leave your answer in the comment section below, who do you think is really involved, especially after listening to this so far? Because it makes so much sense to me that the reason why it's unresolved, both cases, is because, do you understand? Without saying it, you know what I'm trying to say. If Raphael Perez is allegedly involved, if David Mack is allegedly involved, if Kevin Gaines is allegedly involved, and they are part of the police department, yeah. Now, can you imagine if, because Raphael Perez's name also was brought up in the I'm going to use the word conspiracy, the conspiracy in regards to Tupac's case as well. And I think also, and Kevin Gaines. Not sure about David Mack, but definitely Kevin Gaines and Kevin Gaines and Raphael Perez. Makes sense, right? You do the maths.
Next question. Did with all the lost files coming up, you know, detectives feeling like they want to go on retirement because of this and all that, people say conspiracy theory, you know, it's because of him talking. They said he wanted to be part of a certain elite group of people. Then he felt like the lifestyle that they was doing, they were trying to take his soul, and he wanted his soul back. So people felt like he had to go because he knew a little bit too much. Do you feel that Suge Knight set him up?
That's a really good question. It's a very interesting question. Also, I'm gonna put it to you like this.
Put it to me.
I listen really careful to this. I make no.
Hello.
Okay. Here you go. In 1996, the way I felt and what I thought about that whole thing with Suge Knight.
I think that's Frank Alexander talking, which was one of Tupac's bodyguard, the one that was there that night, in the car with Tupac. Was she in the car or was he in the car behind? I can't remember the full deal. I think it was in the car behind. No, I can't remember, but he was there.
And the whole situation concerning Tupac and Suge Knight was completely different, because I couldn't understand how anyone would sit in a car with someone that they would put a hit on and trust that they wouldn't get shot when bullets was flying all through their car. I said it in Before I Wake, which plays on Fuse TV, and I said it in Got Your Back. You can find it at www.frank-alexander.com or amazon.com.
So is that a yes or a no?
Now, no, this you got to hear this. The thing about that is that was 1996. In 2001, Rolling Stone magazine came out with the Rampart investigation through LAPD. And when that came out, I read that article. I had that article. The whole Rolling Stone magazine was about this crooked LAPD cop story of how Biggie got killed and how Pac got killed. And then it named one of the bodyguards who was with me, that was my relief bodyguard for Tupac, named Kevin Hackey. And I can say this because his name is out there like that. And we did a documentary, and he came out and said that he was an FBI informant, and he was there to infiltrate death row for drug racketeering. Now, all along, when we were working together, I never knew that. No one never knew that. But the Rolling Stone magazine announced it. So Kevin sued him over it because they exposed him. All right?
Oh.
So after I read that article, and then I started seeing all these LAPD cops that was from the magazine, they had them in there, pictures of them dressed in red suits. Then I started thinking differently, right? Then I started seeing different things about how a different theory and a different conspiracy could have happened. Who am I going to trust to sit next to me, or trust to fire into my car if I would have set it up? Would be another police officer, someone that is well trained with using a weapon. I have 2 documentaries that go into that, and it's Tupac Assassination, Conspiracy, Revenge, and Reckoning.
That's what we're going. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We're going to react from R.J. Bonds, Tupac Assassination, Conspiracy, Revenge. I think there's and There's 3 parts.
And I talk about those theories, and I talk about that. And my whole thought process completely changed from 1996 to 2001 after I read that article. Then I started digging and digging and digging and looking for dirt. When I started kicking rocks and rocks started turning over, my partner and I, we started finding dirt. And then other things started coming up. So my whole theory on 2Pac's murder did a 360.
So let me ask you this last question.
Absolutely, to answer your question, absolutely. Somebody said it.
Oh, okay, because I thought he didn't tell like who it
Yeah,
was.
hell no, that
There you go,
dude.
Keefe D.
Day one, he said that shit. Keefe D nephew.
Huh.
He sicked the police on us first fucking day. So, yeah, as I said, I met the Colombian that morning. Well, he whipped out the newspaper LA Times and said Keefe D nephew on it. He's like, man, woo, man, you tripping.
Yeah.
Y'all going to jail. I'm out of here. And he just left me his little workers. So that kind of damaged my thing. So later on that evening, that Monday, about 4 o'clock, about 4:15, Reggie Wright Sr., he comes straight to my fucking house. He come up off of Greenleaf, ran the stop sign and everything, doing about.
See that? There's so many people that. First of all, let's talk about the Frank Alexander conversation. The fact that he said he did more digging and found more dirt, and that did a 360 on his view from 96 to 2001. And it's mad, yeah, because he still asks the question of who would set up someone being in that car, knowing that police are allegedly involved and they are well trained. And even, do you know what's mad? Even though we never mentioned this, but even if someone is well trained, yeah, it doesn't mean that they're going to get a particular job done. I'll give you an example, yeah. And although it doesn't result in fatal incidents, it does what, like with football or sports, like some of you call it soccer in America, but like, for example, you got 2 teams, right? Now, the teams are playing professional football. Now, the thing is, how they train based on the tactics and everything involved, yeah, on the day, they go to play that tactic. They're going to try their best, right? But on the day, throughout the 90 minutes, the best team wins. If that's if the ref ain't doing nonsense, but that's another day for another subject. But the point I'm trying to make is, naturally, the best team wins. You know why? Because they just did their job more professional. It doesn't mean the other team was less professional. It's just that they did their job. Do you get what I'm trying to mean? Even if it ends in a draw, they both did their job to the best that they can on that day. So I say that to say this: if you look at both Biggie's situation in Big situation in 97 and 2Pac's situation in 96, they look like hit jobs, professional hit jobs. You cannot tell me any different. They look like professional hit jobs. From my perspective, my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it, right? I'm not, because think about it, if someone was that erratic, I guarantee you, I don't want to say guarantee because I don't know, because I'm not God. But yeah, Suge Knight was hit in the back of his head. He got grazed in the back of his head. You know, even this guy, Keefe D, when he's telling the story to Greg Kading in that documentary, in that tape, he's literally saying he thought Suge Knight was unalive. So let's make that make sense. So let's debunk that rumor that Suge Knight is involved with in a situation regarding 2Pac. With Biggie though, we can still kind of debunk it because it's like he couldn't. What did he gain from it? Nothing, right? Not only that, not only did he not gain anything, the case would have been solved. The case would have been solved, but it's not. Biggie's mom would have went for him rather than LAPD. Let that sink in for a moment.
70 miles per hour, jumped out. He like, hey, motherfucker, let me tell you something, motherfucker. I'm like, what? He like, motherfucker, you killed my son? I'm coming to get your motherfucking ass. Ooh. I'm like, man, fuck you. He like, I'm just telling you, motherfucker. And I'm like, man, fuck you. Get your punk ass out of here. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
He like, I'm just telling you. So maybe about 3 weeks later, my nephew give me a call and say, meet me at Edie Fall's office, the lawyer's office, and bring 2 scraps. So I get there. It's Suge, Reggie Sr., and Sergeant Reynolds. They up there, and they gave us $60,000 to say Lane didn't, to say testifies saying Lane didn't kick the dude.
Okay, yeah. That's when so we're gonna have to react to that another time where Orlando Anderson basically was. Well, maybe we got time to react to it now. You know what? We will. Let's see. But he basically, long story short, he basically confessed that. Not confessed. He basically said he didn't do it. So 60,000, because obviously it was Suge was trying to not go back to jail, innit? Because do you know how mad that is? Like he had to. Anyway, we get on to it.
So why were they up there? To
protect Suge, I guess. That was his motherfucking hitters, I guess. I don't know. Fuck them though.
Do you feel like they was kind of like the whole Compton PD kind of was working?
Yeah, on their payroll, yeah. Him and that dude, what's that motherfucker name? I was at MDC with him. His name is David Mack. This motherfucker was in a protected custody cell.
Yeah.
The morning that the feds did the raid on us, took 70 of us to jail.
Yep.
He was in a protected custody cell. Talking about, what up, Keefe D? What up, Keefe D?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I didn't even know who the fuck the motherfucker was. Once the marshals got on that elevator with us, they told me who that motherfucker was.
Yeah, he's the guy that robbed the bank, right?
Yeah.
The police officer.
One of the Suge boys, yeah.
So you, Baby Lane ends up taking his 60 grand, tells him
seemed like a
that,
massive sell.
you know, Suge didn't do nothing, and the judge still said.
So I can see it's obvious it did something, gave him 9 years.
Everything, do you know what? Everything felt like a massive setup. And let me explain to you, all right? When I say everything felt like a massive setup. Step one, not step one. Let me not do that. So if you think about it, Suge Knight clearly, from my perspective, had nothing to do with Biggie's situation in 1997. That's just, I'm sticking to that, yeah, from my perspective, from where it seemed like. But it makes it seem like he was involved mainly because of the associations. Hear me out. The associations, and I'm just doing it based on this video. The association is based on that, yes, although they were police, David Mack, Raphael Perez, Kevin Gaines, they were wearing red, representation of the blood gang or whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, they're in connection with Suge Knight. But now the question is, this is why Reggie Wright was trying to make sure his name is not connected, because they're part of the security deal. But who hired them? That's the question that needs to be answered. Who hired them? Was it Right Way Security via Reggie Wright Jr., or was it just Suge Knight? Do you understand? Now, they always say it's the closest people to you that can do you dirty. Now, you do the maths. Now, if you flip it to the 2Pac situation, same situation. Who's head of security? Reggie Wright Jr. Now, it's so mad, yeah, because yeah, it's mad. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain it. There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. But let's see what people say in the comments below. But yeah, we'll react to the P Diddy and Kim Porter another day. We'll react to this another day as well. I told you a lot from Discretion TV. Get me? Let's see what people are saying. All right. I don't care what Reggie says. I'm always going to believe he was in Park, but M and Biggie. You see? Someone else is seeing it. All right. So, someone says, Reggie. Chief Parks of the LAPD admitted that Perez and Mac worked security for Death Row on tape. What are you talking about? And if you wasn't suspected of being involved, why would you be offered immunity? Good question. Chief, no information on Mac and Perez being involved in Big M. Mac had a Gecko 9mm rare and a black Impala at his house. Perez and Gaines' face was on the original sketch given by witnesses. All these people are lying? All right, one more.
So you
all right, chill, man, chill. All right, so next one. All right, this dude Reggie lies so damn much until he doesn't even remember what he said in the past and present. Facts. If you're speaking truth, dummy, the story and specifics with the truth will never change. Facts. Reggie knows for a fact that David Mack and Raphael Perez worked for Death Row, especially after when Suge went to jail. They both were seen at Death Row parties and gathering. There you go. Once Reggie moved his lips, he's lying. You know them ways there. I'm gonna react to that another time. All right, so this is my comment. I'm gonna say it is inevitable that the truth is there in plain sight, and I knew Greg Kading was not credible, but damn, this was an eye opener. You know what I mean? This was an eye opener for real, for real. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next thing. This Orlando Anderson. Hold on. Anderson interview. But yeah, man, turn on the post notifications. Keep it moving. That's not the full interview. 10 seconds, you know. There you go. Again, on Discretion TV. I shout to Discretion TV. All right, listen. By the way, my name is Verstar, aka that I could be an untrusted name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And this is what we're reacting to right now. So Orlando Anderson, I was a fan of 2Pac. He was our Marvin Gaye. Chai. Let's go.
Valentino giving me suits, gangsters.
Attached to a motion filed in court by attorneys for Death Row Records chief Suge Knight. This document reveals that only days after the shooting in Las Vegas of rapper Tupac Shakur last September, cops already had the name of the gang informants say pulled the trigger. It should be emphasized this document is based on the word of informants and does not in itself constitute proof of anything. That must be
exactly. Words of from informants. We're gonna rewind that one more time, yeah, because I think people need to understand. An informant, because you know in the documentary we react to the other day, yeah, which is based on Greg Kading's book, yeah, which you can get purchase yours on the pin comment, all right. Yeah, I get a little paid commission, get me. I'm not in a way affiliated with Greg Kading or anything like that, but it's on Amazon. I get paid for affiliate marketing. I just keep it all day $1. But anyway, so look. The point I'm trying to make is, I remember there were not a lot, but quite a few things in relation to informant this, like CW, informant. It's like, and then the way that the informant was talking about in the MGM Grand, it's like, how do you know that's Orlando Anderson? How do you know it's that person, Trayvon Lane? How do you know it's this person? How do you know? How, Sway? Anyway, let's keep moving.
Valentino giving me suits, gangsters.
Was attached to a motion filed in court by attorneys for Death Row Records chief Suge Knight. This document reveals that only days after the shooting in Las Vegas of Tupac Shakur last September, cops already had the name of the gang informants say pulled the trigger. It should be emphasized this document is based on the word of informants and does not in itself constitute proof of anything. That must be done in court. However, the Compton police document does contain a startling account of the events that led up to Shakur's and a shot-by-shot chronicle of the 5-day bloodbath that followed it, a gang war that apparently left 3 men dead and 10 wounded. Here's the story.
This 29-page statement of probable cause offers some intriguing answers. It was written up by Compton police last September and was attached to a motion filed in February by Suge Knight's defense team as part of their attempt to overturn Knight's probation violation. Based largely on information provided to the Compton police by their gang informants, the statement, or affidavit, gives an unverified but considerably detailed account of gang-related activity in Compton before and after the shooting of Tupac Shakur. According to the statement of probable cause, 5 days after Shakur was shot, an informant with special knowledge of the activities of the Bloods, identified in the statement as CRI, or Confidential Reliable Informant Number 3, gave police a sequence of events which suggested that the shooting in Vegas might have been the culmination of a beef that began here at the Lakewood Mall. The informant told Compton police that a man named Trayvon Lane, an alleged death row affiliate also known as Trey, was at the mall's Foot Locker just behind me in July or August of last year when he was confronted by 7 or 8 members of the Southside Crips. A scuffle ensued, during which Lane's death row medallion was taken from him. Fast forward to September 7th in Las Vegas, the night of the Tyson-Seldon fight at the MGM Grand. According to the affidavit, CRI number 3 told the Compton cops that moments after the bout, Trayvon Lane was walking through the hotel as part of Death Row's entourage when he spotted a man later identified as Orlando Anderson, the same man Lane thought who'd taken his medallion at the Lakewood Mall 2 months ago. Lane pointed the man out to Shakur. Shakur confronted Anderson with the question, "You from the South?" an apparent reference to the Southside Crips. A melee ensued, captured on tape by MGM Grand surveillance cameras. Little more than an hour later, as a line of death row cars snaked its way to a party at Knight's Club 662, a white Cadillac with California license plates, according to one report, pulled up to the right of Shakur and Knight's vehicle. According to the affidavit, a passenger opened fire with a Glock 40 caliber handgun, grazing Knight and critically wounding Shakur, as members of the death row entourage watched from the cars behind Knight's. In the affidavit, the informant is also said to have told Compton police Trayvon Lane was heard at Club 662 declaring that the shooter was the same man who'd been in the melee at the MGM Grand, and that the shooter was, quote, Keefe D's nephew, unquote. According to police, Orlando Anderson is the nephew of the man known as Keefe D.
Wait, what? Hold on. Something doesn't sound right. Let's go.
Pulled up to the right of Shakur and Knight's vehicle. According to the affidavit, a passenger opened fire with a Glock 40 caliber handgun, grazing Knight and critically wounding Shakur, as members of the death row entourage watched from the cars behind Knight's. In the affidavit, the informant is also said to have told Compton police Trayvon Lane was heard at Club 662 declaring that the shooter was the same man who'd been in the melee at the MGM Grand, and that the shooter was, quote, Keefe D's nephew, unquote. According to police, Orlando Anderson is the nephew of the man known as Keefe D. Both are reputed by Compton police to be Southside Crips. Back in Compton on September 9th, the day, according to the affidavit, that another informant noticed a late model white Cadillac being driven into a local auto shop by Orlando Anderson's cousin, 3 separate blood sects convened at Looters Park. The topic of discussion, according to the affidavit, the need to retaliate against the Southside Crips for the attack on Tupac Shakur. Compton police were told by their informant that 5 sites for drive-by shootings were chosen. 3 potential targets were singled out. At 2:58 that afternoon, at this location on East Alondra, one such man, whose name was mentioned to Las Vegas police as someone who might have been riding in the white Cadillac, was shot in the back. The war was on. 2 days later, at 9:05 on the morning of September 11th, Southside Crip Bobby Finch was gunned down on South Mayo. The next day, Vegas police told Compton cops that they'd received calls that Finch had been riding in the white Cadillac. By early morning on the 14th, 5 more people had been shot in what Compton police regard as related assaults. Meanwhile, 3 Bloods were fired on and wounded in 2 separate shootings. On September 13th, the day 2Pac Shakur died, 2 more Bloods were shot and killed by an assailant who fled on foot. As the gang war raged, police in Compton and Las Vegas continued to receive unsubstantiated tips that 2Pac Shakur had been shot by Keefe D's nephew, or Baby Lane, aliases, as it turned out, for Orlando Anderson. On the 13th, the affidavit states, one reputed member of the Bloods identified the man who'd shot him in Compton 2 days earlier as Orlando Anderson. On the 20th, an eyewitness fingered Anderson as the triggerman in an April 1996 homicide. Around that same time, the affidavit states, an informant told one police officer that Anderson had been spotted with a .40 caliber Glock handgun, a potentially significant tip, since it hadn't been yet revealed publicly that a .40 caliber Glock had been used in the attack on Shakur. On October 2nd, as part of a gang sweep, Compton police arrested Anderson.
No, wait, time out. I have questions. This apparent informant, one, how does he or she know all of this information to be able to give? Where was they? Because for someone to be an informant, they would have to have been in the whole situations in each different event that the informant saying occurred. They would have to have been actual eyewitnesses. Am I right? Leave your answer in the comment section below. And then we have to take the question of this, because this is what I'm thinking, yeah. This is a mad accusation to make. Is it fair to say that what if, excuse me, what if the informant's Reggie Wright Jr.? Because question, how can they know who is, actually, let me not do that. Allegedly, I don't want to say it's Reggie Wright Jr., but cool, whatever. How can it not be known to the public that it was a particular gun, a particular weapon or whatever you want to call it, and it wasn't known to the public yet you know that information? Science, mad. Science. The informant is either involved. They're either involved in the situation in regards to 2Pac, or they're involved. It's one or the other. Sound like the same thing, right? But they're either involved or they're involved. Because you cannot tell me you're an informant. You were there at all these events. And you know this information. Come on, man.
With that April 1996 homicide. The DA's office declined to press charges at that time and asked the cops to gather more evidence. Compton police told MTV News that Anderson remains the prime suspect in the April 1996 homicide, and charges are expected to be formally filed imminently. As for Anderson's attorney, he declined to comment on this and any other allegations contained in the affidavit, and says that he's not been informed that his client remains the prime suspect in that April 1996 homicide. He has previously denied that Anderson was in any way involved with the killing of Shakur. While testifying under oath here at Suge Knight's probation hearing, Orlando Anderson invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked if he was a member of the Crips and denied that Knight had assaulted him. Vegas police questioned Anderson briefly back in October, at which point a Vegas cop was quoted as saying Anderson was not a suspect in Shakur's murder. 4 months later, however, Vegas Sergeant Kevin Manning told the Los Angeles Times that Anderson was indeed a suspect in Shakur's killing, but that his department lacked hard evidence against him. Vegas cops say that since the night of the shooting, they have been unable to speak with Trevon Lane, who the affidavit asserts was involved with the scuffle with Anderson at the Lakewood Mall, pointed Anderson out to Shakur at the MGM Grand, and was heard at Club 662 hours after the shooting, IDing Anderson as the shooter. Efforts by MTV News to speak with Trevon.
Hang on. I've got another question. That chain. We need to stay focused on that chain, because that seems to be the motive. Am I right or am I wrong? That's the motive for the retaliation from Tupac, technically, because obviously, evidently, he did what he did. And obviously, if Trayvon Lane whispered in his ear to let him know, it's a fair assessment to make. So we now have to find out later. Maybe if I can today, I probably will do it in this live stream. If not, I'll do it in a different live stream. But we'll find out. Can Suge Knight verify whether if he gave a death row chain to Trayvon Lane? Because if he didn't, that would be very telling. That would be extremely telling. That would mean the informant, like I said, he or she's either involved or they're not, or they're involved, one or the other.
Lane were unsuccessful.
On Wednesday, Orlando Anderson gave an exclusive interview to CNN in which he said he did not kill Tupac Shakur.
Were you involved in any way in the death of Tupac Shakur?
No, I was not involved. I mean, I'm like a victim. You know what I'm saying? I feel, you know what I'm saying, sorry for him. And, you know, like I said, I was a fan.
Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996. Mike Tyson is fighting Bruce Sheldon at the MGM Grand Hotel. Multi-platinum rap artist 2Pac Shakur is there to watch Tyson, his friend. After the fight, Shakur rode with his boss, Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, to a party just off the Las Vegas Strip. Their security team went in separate cars. Knight was behind the wheel, Shakur in the front passenger's seat, when witnesses say a white Cadillac pulled up next to them at the intersection of Flamingo and Koval. Witnesses then say a gunman in the Cadillac extended his arm out of the back seat window and fired a semi-automatic pistol at Shakur from close range. After the shooting, the white Cadillac made a right-hand turn here on Koval, speeding away. Suge Knight, with Tupac leading in the front seat, made a U-turn on Flamingo and started driving back towards the Strip. Two police officers who were on duty heard the gunshots, but when they responded, they followed Suge Knight and Tupac, which allowed the white Cadillac to get away. There were several possible motives for the murder. 3 hours before the shooting, this MGM casino surveillance video shows Shakur, Suge Knight, and their entourage attacking Orlando Anderson, an LA area gang member. Many believe that Anderson, seen here after the beating, and his friends shot Shakur in retaliation. CNN asked Anderson about the accusation.
Were you involved in any way in the death of Tupac Shakur?
No, I was not involved.
Anderson was shot and killed months later in a gang-related shooting. Another theory focused on the gangster world that Tupac sang about. Many believe the murder was part of an East Coast-West Coast rap war and a dispute between Shakur and this man, a one-time friend named Christopher Wallace.
How you living, Biggie Smalls? Imagine Benz giving ends to my friends and it feels stupendous.
Made famous with his hits like Big Papa, Wallace, a New York rapper, was known as Biggie Smalls or Notorious B.I.G.
Puff Daddy, Biggie Smalls, Junior Mafia.
There had been an ongoing public feud between Biggie's record label Bad Boy Entertainment, run by Sean Puffy Combs, and LA's Death Row Records, run by Suge Knight, which represented Tupac. 6 months after Tupac's shooting, Biggie Smalls came to California to promote an upcoming album. During an interview with San Francisco radio station KYLD, Smalls denied any involvement in Tupac's death and seemed to want to put any rap war to rest.
I'm just getting over, you know what I'm saying, this whole situation with this East Coast, West Coast thing, you know, when they was going through their things and we was going through our things. I just came over, you know what I'm saying, trying to like basically squash it.
4 days later, on March 9th, 1997, Biggie Smalls was shot and killed in Los Angeles. Smalls was leaving a music industry party. He was shot at a busy intersection while riding in the passenger seat of this Suburban.
When we heard the shots rang out, everyone started running.
The shooting was eerily similar to Tupac's 6 months earlier.
Given the fact that they were both gangster rap artists, naturally our people will be contacting the Las Vegas authorities to see if there's any.
See, this is where you have to think, if they're eerily similar, that means the same person, they're either doing a copycat, because that can happen, or the same person is involved. that you know that saying, and I'm not sure if you watched the Sean Combs the Reckoning documentary, but the saying is, if you solve one case, you solve the other. If you solve 2Pac's case, you solve Biggie's case. If you solve Biggie's case, you solve 2Pac's case. And Greg Kading had the chance to, do you know what I mean? Solve the, well, and his task force had the chance to solve the Biggie case, but he says it, LAPD pulled it. But the question is why? But he got pulled off the task force. So now you have to ask the question of what's really happening. Why is the LAPD going round in circles? And then you have to question Las Vegas Police Department. Where are they in this situation to solve 2Pac's case? I granted that they've arrested Keefe D. So we're going to see what's next. But yeah, let's keep it moving.
Any connection in the two?
Where this blue vehicle is where Biggie's Suburban was. He was stopped just like this vehicle right here.
Former LAPD Detective Russell Poole was one of those assigned to the Biggie Smalls case. Witnesses say the gunman looked like this. He was alone, drove up next to Smalls, and shot him at close range. Poole is convinced that Suge Knight ordered Biggie Smalls' murder, even though Knight was behind bars at the time. He also believes that off-duty LAPD officers who were working for Knight's Death Row Records helped plan the murder.
Suge Knight ordered the hit. Reggie Wright Jr., the head of security for Right Way Security and Death Row.
By the way, obviously rest in peace Russell Poole, but like, respectfully, I need people to understand the reason why these conspiracy theories exist is because of people like Russell Poole. Russell Poole obviously worked for the LAPD, right? Now, are you familiar with the LA riots that took place in the 90s, in the early 90s? Well, if you are familiar, or even if you're not familiar, Rodney King beatings, if you remember that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? LAPD are known to have the most corrupt police department in America, allegedly. So the racism is not too far-fetched, nor is other things not too far-fetched when it comes to this police department. So if they can pin something on someone and make it, or make a narrative look a certain way, oh, they will. They will. Because even if they want to insinuate that a police within their department is working for example, Death Row Records, and yet that two things could be true. They could be working for Suge Knight's label, but they could also be working for the police at the same time. Two things can be true. But let's keep it moving. No conspiracies aside.
Organize the personnel to plan the hit, and I believe police officers were a big part of the hit.
Poole says he believes Suge Knight also had 2Pac Shakur killed because the rapper was planning to leave Knight's Death Row Records.
Do you know how cap? Listen, I don't want to pause too much, but come on, that is total cap. For one, 2Pac was never really signed to Death Row Records in the first place. He was never ever signed to Death Row Records in the first place. Never. It sounds mad that he wasn't, but he wasn't. He was still signed under Interscope Records. It's just the imprint under Death Row Records made it seem that way, but yeah.
Poole says he retired early from the LAPD out of frustration because of this case, saying the department didn't allow him to pursue leads that involved other cops.
I think I was getting too close to the truth. I think they feared that the truth would be a scandal.
Poole later assisted Biggie Smalls' mother in a lawsuit claiming LA police covered up officers' involvement in the shooting. Bernard Parks was the chief of police when Poole was investigating. He's now an LA City councilman. He tells CNN Poole's accusations are, quote, absurd, saying, quote, we would have never ignored a lead that could have helped us solve that murder. We couldn't get Suge Knight to sit down for an interview, but he has told CNN he had nothing to do with either murder. Reggie Wright Jr. did agree to appear on camera. He was Death Row Records' head of security, who says he ran the company while Suge Knight was in prison.
Did you have anything to do with Tupac's murder?
No, sir.
Or Biggie's?
No, sir.
Wright says he believes that Tupac was simply killed
You can't do art to directly like that.
in retaliation for the casino fight, and Suge Knight, whom he says he no longer talks to, was not involved.
Know that he 100% had nothing to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Suge Knight. Biggie Small, I honestly do not know.
Both the Los Angeles and Las Vegas police departments say the investigations into the shootings of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls are ongoing. Ted Rowlands, CNN, Los Angeles.
Guy with a big reputation. A local congresswoman once described him as one of the new young black entrepreneurs. Others describe him as a thug. In any event, the death row lifestyle that earned him a big reputation also put him in jail, where he is awaiting sentencing for a probation violation. Fox Undercover takes a closer look at Suge Knight.
Here in Las Vegas last fall, 330-pound Suge Knight scurries through the MGM casino. And in what a judge would later describe as a Rat Pack attack, Suge joins in kicking a downed Crip gang member who apparently disrespected Knight's Death Row Records entourage. This assault would land Knight in court a few months later, where a judge determined Suge's involvement was a violation of his probation.
I think he had been involved in an assault.
Nearly 2 years ago, Suge had pleaded no contest to 2 other assault charges. In this Hollywood recording studio, he pistol whipped, fired a shot at, and threatened to kill 2 brothers after they used his telephone. George and Linwood Stanley later sued Knight. He agreed on a $1 million settlement, but only paid a third of it.
You see, we live by the gun, so we die by the gun.
The Stanley's attorney calls Death Row a modern-day crime family, adding he and his clients are afraid to publicly discuss their case. There is no doubt Knight's Death Row Records has profited handsomely cultivating the gangster image.
I'd like to introduce to you Suge Knight, CEO of Death Row Records, and he has a special announcement to make.
But in public, Knight works another image. In suit and tie, he poses with the mayor at a South Central youth center where he donated money. He has handed out thousands of holiday turkeys and toys in the inner city the past 4 years.
It's free now, come on.
And hosted an annual Mother's Day bash for 1,000 single moms.
Wrong that he's done supersede any good that he's done.
But Doris and Saul Jamerson aren't buying what Suge is selling.
He's a bully, and I don't have no respect for him.
Witnesses say their son Kelly was beaten to death by up to a dozen death row thugs. Nearly 2 years ago.
Anyway, I'm going to take a quick pause for a minute. Make sure you leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I know we're supposed to react to Orlando Anderson's full interview, but this is the second thing that came up. I thought it would have been the full thing, but it's fine. It's still fine to watch this. But let me know what your thoughts are. And do you think, let me know who you think's involved. But anyway. All right, people, I'm back. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. All right.
Kelly had joined friends at this death row party following the Soul Train Music Awards. It was held here at the El Rey Theater on Wilshire Boulevard. According to police, witnesses say Kelly, a 28-year-old construction worker, Little League coach, and father of 3 children, was knocked to the floor, kicked and beaten with metal chairs. Glass from broken beer bottles embedded in his scalp, his face mangled. All because of a perceived slight against someone from death row. The Jamersons blame Suge Knight.
I was told that he was aware that my son was there, was having an argument with someone, and he said, take care of it. And that's what they did.
No one has ever been arrested for his murder. The DA's office cites conflicting
Can I just
stories.
for just a second, yeah? If someone take care of it can mean one or two things. Because can you really blame Suge Knight for that? I know it's mad because obviously you want to hold someone accountable, and if it's someone like who gives orders, then hold them accountable. But really and truly, it should be with those who did the action, right? But because in court he could easily said, well, I told him to take care of it. I didn't say to beat him, to unalive him. I didn't even say to beat him up. I just said take care of it. How they interpret that is how they interpret that. But I will say this though, we know Suge Knight is not all the way innocent when it comes to a lot of stuff. So it is what it is. But it's so unfortunate, man. It's very, very unfortunate. I feel for these two, honestly, because no parent should lose their child. No parent. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
And witnesses afraid to testify.
They always blame it on Suge when everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? He did it. He always try to avoid everything, keep everything down. This is business. This ain't no game, none of this.
But here in the Compton neighborhood where Suge grew up, mob Pyru gang members like 32-year-old Heron see Knight as a man who gave his friends and family jobs.
I work. I pay taxes too. You know what I'm saying? That's right. And this is what Suge taught me. Yeah. I ain't never had a job before in my life until I started working for Suge. You know, in and out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Did a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Now you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm a born-again worker.
In this short film,
I gotta laugh at that. Hey, yo! Hey, Heron. The fact that he said I'm a born-again worker. Oh, that's too funny. That literally is funny. I can't even lie. Because you know that born-again Christian, but born-again worker. No, man.
They say sex sales. I think murder sales.
Starring Snoop Doggy Dogg. A young rapper-songwriter called Sam Snead was also working for death row.
Crazy, bitch. I'm Sam Snead, better recognize.
But in this so-called protection death declaration letter sent to the LA U.S. Attorney last April, Snead's father claims when his son tried to break a death row contract, Knight had him beaten and threatened to kill him. Snead has gone into hiding according to the letter, and even his lawyers refuse to talk about it.
Check this out, dog. Hey, look.
Fox News has confirmed Suge and Death Row Records are being investigated by federal and local law enforcement for alleged criminal activities. Knight, in a recent newspaper article, charged the probes must be racially motivated, saying sometimes people get sacrificed when they stand up. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Sometimes they take away your life.
It makes you want to vomit, doesn't it?
Attorney Joseph Porter represents several clients suing Knight and Death Row, including the Jamersons.
It seems that it just follows him. I'm a gangster. When you see me come and step out the way. I'm supposed to let my child see that that's okay. That's what you're supposed to do to make money in America. Don't buy it. And to equate that with Martin Luther King or Malcolm X is outrageous.
And here at Linwood High in the early 80s, some say to describe Knight as a gangster would have been outrageous. He is remembered as Marion, not Suge, a motivated, hard-working football player. And later here at El Camino College, he was not only a standout defensive tackle, but according to his coach, a straight, easygoing, likable kid.
There wasn't anything negative I could say about Suge with his stay here, not at all.
But today, it seems Suge revels in his gangster image. He named his Las Vegas nightclub 662. The numbers spell out mob on a telephone keypad. The old family home is still trimmed in red colors of the mob Piru street gang.
Hey!
One former employee says Suge gangsterized Death Row to the point wherever he went, someone went down in a fight. As a result, it now seems Suge won't be moving into this hilltop Encino mansion he is remodeling anytime soon.
Knight's attorney and family have not responded to our request for comment. Meanwhile, at least a half dozen people have filed suit against Knight because of violent behavior, including 2 NFL football players who say they're afraid to talk about it. As for death,
attached to a motion filed in court by attorneys for Death Row Records chief Suge Knight. This document reveals that only days after the shooting in Las Vegas of rapper 2Pac Shakur last September, cops already had the name of the man gang informants say pulled the trigger. It should be emphasized this document is based on the word of informants and does not in itself constitute proof of anything. That must be done in court. However, the Compton police document does contain a startling account of the events that led up to Shakur's killing and a shot-by-shot chronicle of the 5-day bloodbath that followed it, a gang war that apparently left 3 men dead and 10 wounded. Here's the story.
This 29-page statement of probable cause offers some intriguing answers. It was written up...
All right, listen, this is magic. Because, you know, after the documentary, Sean Combs' The Reckoning, right? It's amazing. I've seen so many, not so many, I've seen quite a few people say, oh, Sean Combs' The Reckoning documentary made Suge Knight look like a saint. And then there was one person, I can't remember who they are, but they said, yeah, Suge Knight was bad. It was still bad, but at least he didn't pie anyone or something like that. But then when you hear of that situation that happened to, oh, forgive me, I forgot his name, but like when you hear of that, you're like, whoa, I didn't know that information. Do you understand? And I'm not here to defend Suge Knight or prosecute Suge Knight. That's not my calling or anything like that. But what I will say is this. Like, the whole point of me reacting to this stuff is just to get a full scope and a full understanding of what really happened. You know what I mean? What really happened with Tupac and Biggie? Because they are really part of hip hop culture, and so is Suge Knight, and so is Diddy. Let's be all the way 100. So, you know, me being a kid back then when that happened, and to be fair, I was totally oblivious to it. When I was a teenager, I somewhat knew, but then the older I was, as I became an adult, I was like, whoa. Then, do you know what I mean? So you start to dig into, you start to do more research, or you question things. You start to realize, okay, that makes sense, but that doesn't make sense. So why is this? Why is that? Do you understand? So listen, people can only tell their own stories and not from their own perspectives, and that's the, and you can't really say they're lying, or if you believe they're lying, that's on you. If you believe they're telling the truth, that's on you. Yeah, people are allowed to tell their own perspectives of events that happen in their life. Let's keep it all 100. But anyway, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
By Compton police last September and was attached to a motion filed in February by Suge Knight's defense team as part of their attempt to overturn Knight's probation violation. Based largely on information provided to the Compton police by their gang informants, the statement, or affidavit, gives an unverified but considerably
Yeah,
detailed
they're
account
repeating this.
of gang-related activity in Compton before and after the shooting of 2Pac
How
Shakur.
does this person know this?
According to the statement of probable cause, 5 days after Shakur was shot, an informant with special knowledge of the activities of the Bloods, identified in the statement as CRI, or Confidential Reliable Informant Number 3, gave police a sequence of events which suggested that the shooting in Vegas might have been the culmination of a beef that began here at the Lakewood Mall. The informant told Compton police that a man named Trevon Lane, an alleged death row affiliate also known as Trey, that Anderson was indeed a suspect in Shakur's killing, but that is
that part.
He got killed right there. You know what I'm saying? Him and the nigga from Paru, they got into a shootout right up there.
Okay. This time it's
2Pac Shakur.
Were you involved in any way in the death of 2Pac Shakur?
No, I was not involved. I mean, I'm like a victim. You know what I'm saying? I feel, you know what I'm saying, sorry for him. And, you know, like I said, I was a fan of.
Baby Lane that killed 2Pac, he got killed right there. Baby Lane that killed 2Pac, he got killed right there. You know what I'm saying? Him and the nigga from Paru, they got into a shootout right up there, you know what I'm saying? Till they killed each other, you know what I mean? That's an OG car wash, been here for years as well. This is Alondra right here. The cage is right here to the right. We're finna go to the hill right after this.
How did this person...
Why was he shot?
He was coming from the car wash, picking up his truck, and somebody just ran up on him and shot him like that. We don't know why. We don't know nothing. Nobody ain't told us nothing why he was killed.
Some people say this had something to do with the killings of 2Pac Shakur and people way back 2-3 years ago.
I don't know if it is. I don't know nothing about that. I don't have no idea about that. All I know is that my nephew is laying up here dead now. That's all I know.
What's her nephew?
Is this somehow connected with the Bloods and the Crips and what's going on with the gang?
I don't know. I really can't say. This is two different sets going on. We got the South Side and then you got Corner Pocket. It's corrupted out here now. Everybody's getting killed.
And there's a lot of shootings going on.
Yeah, every day you hear about somebody getting killed. Not one day, but every day somebody's getting killed. And I think it's time for it to stop. It's really time.
Oh, it's time for it to stop. But when your nephew and I don't know if she's Keefe D's sister, do you know what I mean? Or cousin, or obviously they must be related in some way. It's okay for them to be gangbanging, and when it happens to your own relative that gets, you know what I'm saying? Oh, now you want it to stop. I'm not saying that she didn't want it to stop in the first place, by the way. I'm just saying, like, it's so interesting when you hear these type of things. And obviously, she does sound like she knows a lot in terms of what goes on in the area, because she's saying there's different sets.
I think any of this is connected with the rappers that were shot?
I can't say that. I don't know for sure because I wasn't over there. We was at home. I live in Long Beach. Me and his mother was at home, which is my sister.
Okay.
And we got a call that he had got shot, and so we made it right up here. We came straight to here.
And what is his name?
His name is Jerry Stone.
Jerry Stone.
And he died this evening.
And is he connected with Orlando Anderson, one of the other people?
I don't even know who Orlando Anderson is.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought Orlando Anderson was her nephew. So we're gonna rewind that. That's mad. I didn't clock that properly.
The nigga from Paru, they got into a shootout right up there, you know what I'm saying? Till they killed each other, you know what I mean? That's an OG car wash, been here for years as well. This is Alondra right here. The cage is right here to the right. We're finna go to the hill right after this.
Why was he shot?
He was coming from the car wash, picking up his truck, and somebody just ran up on him and shot him like that.
Okay, now it makes sense to why I thought she was talking about Orlando Anderson. Because it's the way it just transitioned.
We don't know why. We don't know nothing. Nobody ain't told us nothing why he was killed.
Some people say this had something to do with the killings of 2Pac Shakur and people way back 2-3 years ago. I
don't know if it is. I don't know nothing about that. I don't have no idea about that. All I know is that my nephew is laying up here dead now. That's all I know.
Is this somehow connected with the Bloods and the Crips and what's going on with the gang?
I don't know. I really can't say. This is two different sets going on. We got the South Side and then you got Corner Pocket. It's corrupted out here now. Everybody's getting killed.
And there's a lot of shootings going on.
Yeah, every day you hear about somebody getting killed. Not one day, but every day somebody's getting killed. And I think it's time for it to stop. It's really time.
Okay, so originally I was thinking that she's Orlando Anderson's auntie, and I was completely wrong. So I apologize for that. But so now I don't know the person, her nephew, if he was affiliated with any of those sets in Compton or LA or whatever. But yeah, so I apologize if my comments came across a bit brash and harsh. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
Do you think any of this is connected with the rappers that were shot?
I can't say that. I don't know for sure because I was there. We was at home. I live in Long Beach. Me and his mother was at home, which is my sister. And we got a call that he had got shot, and so we made it right up here. And we came straight to here.
And what is his name?
His name is Jerry Stone.
Jerry Stone.
Jerry Stone. Wow. Rest in peace, Jerry Stone. See, because you hear about, Orlando Anderson, yeah, he was, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know someone else also got, you know what I'm saying, pied in the whole situation. I didn't know that.
Died this evening.
And is he connected with Orlando Anderson, one of the other people that were
I don't even know who Orlando Anderson is.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
While the music of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. live on, so does the mystery of who put an end to their young lives.
Can't believe this. You don't get popped by other cops when you're a cop.
Tupac is just as popular even after his death and just as visible, with last month's release of his film Gang Related fueling rumors he's still alive. But autopsy photos published in this new book called The Killing of Tupac Shakur may put an end to those rumors. Meanwhile, the man Las Vegas police once named as suspect in Shakur's murder, alleged Los Angeles Crips gang member Orlando Anderson, is suing the rapper's estate. Anderson has never been charged.
Orlando Anderson completely denies having anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. He does do that. But there's more to the story.
Vibe magazine's latest issue features an interview with Anderson as well as an in-depth look at Tupac's murder. Anderson's lawsuit contends that he was assaulted by the rapper in the lobby of the MGM Grand Hotel, captured here on surveillance video. In turn, Shakur's mother has filed a wrongful death suit against Anderson, alleging that he is the one who fired the gun that killed her son. Suge Knight, the man who was driving the car when Shakur was shot, also alludes to the fact that it was Anderson, who some say is also known as Baby Lane, pulled the trigger.
Suge Knight names an individual named Baby Lane as who he thinks is responsible for Tupac's murder. He does not say Orlando Anderson's name, and Orlando Anderson says that he is not Baby Lane. So it's still quite the mystery.
The death of rapper Notorious B.I.G. also remains unsolved, but one of the people reportedly questioned about his murder is a man by the name of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He is allegedly listed in police files as a member of the Los Angeles Crips, and interestingly enough, he is Orlando Anderson's uncle. His car has been seized, but he's not been named as an official suspect, but B.I.G.'s family is not so sure about the police gang theory. The biggest sources of info for LAPD has come from this sketch of a suspect they released shortly after the murder.
It's Orlando Anderson, A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N?
O-R-L-A-N.
I'm sorry, help me out again.
Oh, you said Anderson, A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N.
Orlando, tell me, Tupac's mother filed a lawsuit Friday. What would you say to Afeni Shakur today?
I mean, first of all,
When did you hear that Tupac?
I want to watch this full interview. I wonder if I can find it.
When I heard that Tupac was shot, when I was at home, matter of fact, I was at home, like.
No, with the last thing. Okay.
Strike that. That's not a very good sign.
You know, it was like, he was like a, I was like a big fan of his. To me, he was like I mean, when you say Tupac, he was like, you know what I'm saying, the Marvin Gaye rap to me.
This is why I need to watch the full thing. This is why I need to watch the full thing. If I can find it, I'm going to find it. I'm going to see if I can find it. Let's see what people say in the comments real quick, though. Right, so they had all this information then, and no one from the Southside Crips gets arrested until 2020. It's crazy. No, wrong, because Orlando Anderson did get arrested, but yeah. Anyway, Reggie can barely keep his cool. He's under too much pressure to be innocent. Exactly. People in contact were getting amplified every day and never got an entire segment on TV about it. Fair enough. He should have stayed in his lane, but he did not and got all up in baby. Oh, get out of here. Is interesting is how this set up is because what really happened? Who really is involved? Because it seems like Orlando Anderson may or may not be involved, but his uncle clearly is going for trial for it. So let's see what happens next. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens next. Because, like I said, Greg Kading, is he reliable? Is he a reliable source? I don't know. I want to see if I can find it. Where's the full? Is this the full interview? I'm gonna see if I can find an interview, people, because I genuinely want to see. Okay, you know, let's go to this one. Not this one. Sorry, this one.
Is it Orlando?
Yes.
Let me just ask you point blank, did you kill Tupac Shakur?
I didn't kill Tupac. I mean, I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? They would even say something like that. I mean, you know, I just want to tell everyone that, you know, I didn't do it, and I feel sorry for him, you know what I'm saying, his fans and his, and his family, and friends.
No, time out. There's someone there with, I think, his attorney to coach him. I think this, as much as this is a good idea, I think it's a bad idea. But at the same time, let's go. I say it's a bad idea because, you still got to make yourself look guilty, regardless.
From 1995 to date, have you ever ridden in a white Cadillac?
No.
Do you know anyone who owns a white Cadillac?
No.
Now, right here, where you see this pole, and this coming up 2023, that's where the car wash was. They done tore around the whole area. The car wash was right at
What
this
is
corner.
the full interview?
Right
What's going
here.
on?
Right to your right here, and this area is closed up as well, is Mom's Burger.
I didn't come here for that. I came here for the full interview. Why do they do this? Let me see. If I can't find it. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to have to miss it out for now. It's fine. What we're going to do, though, we're going to quickly find out the question that I have in mind in regards to Suge Knight. Where is it? Suge Knight, Death Row Chain, Trayvon Lane. Yeah? We want to hear Suge Knight mention it. There you go, look. No, okay, that's something different. Woo! Suge Knight says Drake, 2Pac, Death Row Chain is fake. They played you. But I wonder if he does mention it in here, though. That's what I want to know.
Suge, what's poppin', man?
Man, as usual, every day's a blessing. Working out and getting ready, you know?
Yeah, health is wealth, man. Got to make sure your health is on point, man.
Facts.
Always. Hey, some people is 2 nights sleep and they wake up and they probably gone, you know? Either natural causes or somebody probably knock them down. So we pray for them ahead of time.
Yes, indeed. So, Suge, I got to ask you, since you was the one passing out the Death Row chains back then, how you feel about Drake buying Pac Death Row chain?
Well, I'm quite sure it's not true. But the only person to ask, you know, when I came up with the idea to make the Death Row chains, one, had never been done before. 2, it was like wearing a, you know, it was like having your flag, your rag. You can't tuck it. It means something. So only person I got Death Row chains, and I'm the only one handing them out. I get.
Bearing in mind, he's the only one that had holding them out. I don't know if it was me the whole time, but anyway, let's keep it moving. Like I said, I'm sure it's in here, this interview, he mentions about whether he gave Trayvon Lane the chain or not. Yeah, I know it. The headline it says Drake, 2Pac, Death Row chain is fake. They played you, but this is this. I'm pretty sure it's in this interview he mentioned whether he gave it to Trayvon Lane or not. We're gonna find out something real quick.
They wanted to Snoop it first.
Snoop.
And Snoop felt that Death Row chain is gonna cause too much controversy. He said he ain't trying to be squabbling up or running. So I made him a dog paw chain. And if you notice on that picture we all had on black, you'll see Snoop wearing a dog paw. Andre had a Death Row chain. Buntry had a Death Row chain. Cameron, Hen Dog, Neckbone, Trey. You know, I can go on. It was a
Trey. So is he talking about Trayvon Lane? So maybe it's true. Trayvon Lane did have a chain.
Few of the homies. None of the bitches on Death Row had Death Row chains. The Dog Pound didn't even have Death Row chains. I made them dog paws for them. When Pac came home, I went to go visit Pac. And when I got Pac out, he came home and we was going somewhere at the time. He said, "Oh, I can tell all your niggas, they all got those Death Row chains." I'm like, "Shit, I'm gonna make you one." He was like, "Shit, you my big bro. Let me wear yours. That's more important. I don't want a first one. I want to wear the one you got." So my Death Row chain at the time was full of diamonds on the chain and full of diamonds on the bezel. Pac came home and got that chain. Not after Christmas, not after New Year's. He already had it.
October 1996.
In 1,000%. I heard a few people say that it was something wrong on there. One should run on that chain or the charm. Definitely not the chain, but the charm on the back wasn't nothing. And it was one of the best jewelers in California. This guy always come with great diamonds, the best of the gold, the best of all the shit. Now, if Drake bought that chain, Drake should go back and keep their drawers up their ass. But I don't go hard about it because it ain't Drake's fault. And I believe Drake really admired Tupac and liked Tupac.
He didn't. No, he didn't.
I know in one of his songs, he was talking about, so they say he was talking about how he was listening to some songs that
Hey, listen, if Drake really admired Tupac, he wouldn't be buying up Tupac stuff or trying to buy up replicas. Like, you know what I mean? Like a colonizer stealing and bringing it back to his country and put it in a museum. Do you know what I mean? Just saying. But we're gonna keep it moving. But I think I got all the information I wanted to get from here, which was the fact that he mentioned Trey. So I'm guessing Trayvon was also one person he also gave the chain to. So that's interesting to me. Yeah, let's go.
Persons that he was supposed to have. And you know, we ended up getting it back. It was a sad day for Bass. Got touched up a little bit. That's the past. But more importantly, I feel that it's sort of weird that everybody want to rewrite history. That they had a death row chain. Nobody had a bitch ain't never had a death row chain or a row chain. Never in life. But if Drake really trying to do something on a Tupac, he should get at a motherfucker who really fuck with Tupac all the time, still today. Stop
but he
fucking
doesn't.
weirdos
He's not for the culture.
who was jealous and hating on Tupac. It had something to do with his downfall. You is gonna fuck with him, Drake.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Make sure you hang with him in the privacy of your own home. Yeah, that's about it. You know, when it's all said and done, that's not a Tupac chain. That's not a death row chain. But that's
plain and simple, right?
Whoever sold you that chain, Drake, you need to go beat his motherfucking ass.
This guy's in jail still saying that ish.
Matter of fact, on the low, shoot that fool's name and number. Address if you got it.
Man said on the low, shoot this guy. This guy. This guy. Suge Knight is mad. He's a madman. He's a imagine being in jail and this is what you're saying. No good now. If Suge said it's fake, it's fake. Andre, I swear he won't call him Dr. Dre for nothing. He won't. You don't respect Dr. Dre. You would just call him Andre. Funny as hell. So fake, I could tell by looking at it. My boss on the phone. All right, cool, whatever. All right. But, hold on. Did he just say Trayvon? Trey, as in Trayvon. Wait, I think it's about Trayvon Lane had a chain. All right, so we're gonna quickly find out. We want to find out something else. Yeah, we want to find out. Does Suge? Wait, hold on, no, not that way. Suge Knight on chain robbery at Lakewood. Hold on, Lakewood Mall, because that's where the incident happened. No, not that one. Where is it? I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find it. I don't think he ever has spoken it. Oh, quite Edwards. I didn't say a word anyway. Alright, I don't think we're gonna find it. I'll be honest with you. Because here's the thing. I'm sure he has spoken in it before. I'm sure he has because there's something that's not adding up. Do you get it? There's something that there's something that's not adding up. Suge Knight got his change start. No. I was there when Warren G got his change start at Death Row. Nope. Darren Vegas saw Suge Knight tried to jump my Death. Okay. Nah. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. Can't find what I was looking for. So we're just gonna find out the latest update in regards to Diddy and the whole situation. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's probably the latest one, which I've already seen. Let's see. Yeah, man. Turn on the post notifications for more content. Yeah, I've seen this. Fine. It is fine. All right. So, let me see if I could get. I want to find his details. Who was it? Right. Suge Knight explains. Hold on. Lakewood Mall. Because who came up with that incident? Suge Knight tells how what? No. Suge Knight explains detailed story. Remember. All right. Suge Knight addressed the claim that you're 2Pac winning. No. No. I must react to this another time, but this we're gonna react to. Suge Knight shockingly reveals 2Pac why for the. All right. Let's just click on that.
How you feel about the people that say you was using Tupac as a shield when the BMW was getting shot at?
First of all, even though it was one of my undercover cars, I don't ride in cheap shit, all the little shit. I'm a grown ass man. You must got me mixed up with the little people, the 5-footers. So therefore, it was a big 750, you know. And if you look at the bullets and you look at everything how it happened, and you look at the fact that where I got shot at, I grabbed Tupac and put him down and laid on top of him. That's how I got shot in the head. And for those that say, hey, I got grays or whatever else, it's all you got to do. I'm a betting man. I should live in Loserville. I went to UNLV. Loserville is Vegas. I went to UNLV. I bet all day. Put that money. I could show my x-rays. You'll see a bullet an inch into my skull. you'll see that the doctor's report said if they would have removed it, and if they couldn't remove it, because if it were another inch, I'd have been a vegetable or I'd have been dead. So that makes no
Which
sense.
makes sense to why in Reggie Wright's, from what he's saying, then it would make sense to why, not Reggie Wright, it would Keefe D, why in that documentary that we reacted yesterday, why he would admit to thinking that Suge Knight was, you know what I mean, unalive. It kind of makes sense.
And how can I use a little man to shield a big ass man?
True.
When it comes to the people who just want to talk, or you got that much hatred in your heart, or you the type of man that have a lot to say when I'm not around, but when you see me, you have nothing to say. It's all right for me. I can't tell you to be a man, but I can call you and say, right now, y'all acting like a whole, seem like y'all got a lot of bitch in you. Just talking and shaking and talking. Too much bitch in it for me. But let's go with the facts. And you do your research and you say your due diligence, and you know that I'm right.
Yeah, let's deal with the facts and the facts only.
Just like I don't want to keep bringing up old little Ray J.
What Ray J do now?
I'm going to show you guys something. Ray J gets on this channel and they put this document out there saying that he had my life rights. Even though I talked about it, I'm going to show you he do not have my life rights. It ain't over, Ray J.
Hey, Ray J's always doing something to itch. You know what I'm saying?
Quicksand, we gonna make you sink. Holla. So that's just facts of the truth, you know.
Respectfully, if you can you go into detail about, Tupac reaction when the car was getting shot up?
Respectfully is this. I don't hide for nothing. But I do have respect for a person project. And it's a man and wife. Got all those answers. So on point, so unreal. It's unreal to hear it, even for me. It takes me right back in that car where I knew who was shooting. I knew how many people were shooting, who participated in doing what, who was being Judas or Judas. And
pause right there. Who's being a Judas? That lets you know that it's someone he knows. That not only knows him, but knows Tupac. Because why would he say that? I know sometimes Suge Knight can tell stories that, you know what I'm saying, that can seem, like lies. But in this case, come on now. But raw.
And respect for that man and his wife, they asked me a few things that I told them. And they have a project coming out.
Okay, when is it coming out then?
Project. The reason why they project gonna promote itself, and it's so deep, because all I'm gonna say is this: you got a lot of people can talk and say things that wasn't even a mile, 5 miles in that area. It's only 2 people was in that car. Only person can say what we played and listened to, or what really happened, is either Pac or myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my little brother, and I love him every day. And he not to tell his truth.
True.
So it's on me to tell it for him. And the people who got that project coming out, you just gotta wait and check it out.
When
I ain't
is it
trying to
coming
step
out?
on their toes, you know? But that's just facts.
So let me ask you this, right? The shooter, the person who shot Tupac,
Oh, come
did
on,
you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row?
Yeah.
What? Whoa. The question is the name of the project that's coming out. What's their name? When is it coming out? That's the question to ask, and then you can ask the other question, the follow-up question. Anyway.
The shooter, the person who shot Tupac, did you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row?
Yeah. What I would say is this.
He said, yeah.
I'm not calling a certain person Judas.
Okay. No Judas.
Whereas names could go with those people are Judas. I know it's more than one person involved in the assassination.
Okay.
And respectfully, I would say that I gave the husband, I gave the wife, and by the way, they're black people. I stand on my blackness because I am black.
All right, I hear that.
So out of respect to them and their project, you the homie, but you gonna have to wait to see what really happened when they put it out. That's all I can say about that part. But there's no secrets.
Boy, there's no secrets, but come on, man. We need to know the truth, man. Anyway, let's see what people say in the comments real quick, and then, yeah. I'm going to see the newest comments first. Free Shug. The pieces are falling into place. I bet the day doesn't go by that Shug doesn't think about that. Now, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Seriously. When does that project come out? What husband and wife is involved? Where? Hold on. Where will it air? You know what I'm saying? Like, get me? When will it air? When will it come out? Who's in, like, who? And just anyway, let's just hope that although Suge Knight standing needs the blackness, let's hope they're also standing on their blackness and want the truth to be out there like that. Do you understand? Because some people can try to retrieve information from you, and then they know what they will hold that truth, all that information from you, and hold it over for their own purpose or whatever the case is. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Yeah, like I'm still this continues to leave me with a lot of questions. But one thing for certain is we 100% can say that Suge Knight, yeah, clearly isn't involved. Hold on. First of all, shout out to Johan Caravan. Biggie is a traitor. Why is Biggie a traitor? I'm intrigued to know, why is he a traitor? I mean, let's see other comments. If 50 Cent denounces Diddy so much, it's because he knows what's going on inside. And it's the same for Jay-Z, who's more Masonic because he references 18th century France in his songs. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Is it? Do you know what's? Listen, each of their own. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Um. And by the way, a mason is a builder. Yeah, that's what a mason is. Yeah, that as far as I'm aware, a mason is a builder. Um. So Drake copied everything from Suji. That's supposed to be Suge. Drake didn't copy anything from Suge. If it's better to be Suge, if he did, he wouldn't be in the position he is in now. He wouldn't have lost to Kendrick, let alone if you know what I mean. If he learned everything from Suge, he would be behind the scenes by now. Yeah, like but look, by his third project by now, like his third album, he would have the artists he would have signed and worked with. He would have made sure put them in the best position to be able to win. Do you know what I mean? How many artists on his label could you say have had a phenomenal run like the artists that were on Death Row Records? Let me know. Let me know. Do you know what I mean? Let's see this next one. But I appreciate the comments though. I doubt it. Even if the uncle who supplied Eminem with the rap albums isn't friends with Diddy. I'm confused. What do you mean by that comment? What do you mean by that comment, Johan? But no, for real. Like as far as I appreciate the comments, keep the comments coming. Yeah, I don't know. You see, with 50 Cent denouncing Diddy so much, it's more of the case of, and this is, and we can react to why 50 Cent hates Diddy so much. Yeah, it's more to do with the fact of how he tried to disrespect his manhood. You understand? That's all it simply comes down to. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It sounds so simplistic, yeah, but sometimes it's always that simplistic thing. And then also there was another thing we reacted to where it also could be to do with the fact of Diddy's alleged involvement to do with Chris Lighty. That could be another reason. So that there's various reasons that could lead to why 50 feels a certain way about Diddy in terms of that. But as far as Jay-Z being a Mason and referencing 18th century France in his songs, I mean, many people reference a lot of things in their music and their art or whatever the case is. Doesn't mean that this or that. They just reference it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I think there was a song where I forgot what it is. But either way, everyone's gonna have their opinion about us people. But the main thing is if someone is literally doing harm to others, do you know what I'm saying? That's when it's really problematic. You know what I mean? And they should be out of it. But if they're not really doing harm to others, and yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? The only reason why another thing is the only reason why Tupac dissed Jay-Z is because Jay-Z was connected to Tupac. That's the only reason why, because Tupac was dissed by Biggie on a Jay-Z song that Biggie was part of. If Faith had two twins, she would have two Parks. Get it? Two Parks. Come on, man. Anyway, those who don't believe that Biggie was dissing Tupac, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that another day for another subject. But anyway, I appreciate everyone watching. But yeah, man, it's been an interesting stream for today. I personally learned something new. Do you know what I mean? What did you learn new today as well? Let me know in the comments below. But other than that, thank you for watching. Get me. Until next time. Yeah.